In 1497, Portugal's destiny was hidden within the pages of an uncharted and mysterious world. Portuguese ships explored the coast for decades, yet for many, the horizon remained a graveyard of myths. King Manuel I entrusted Vasco da Gama with a mission to finish the journey his father could not. The goal was simple: find Christians and precious spices to break the Mediterranean trade monopoly. Mathematics and astronomy were the primary weapons used to navigate the unpredictable chaos of the deep ocean. 4 ships and 170 men set sail, promising to reach India by navigating the southern seas. To conquer the currents, Gama sailed deep into the Atlantic, far from the safety of land. For 90 days, the crew saw nothing but stars and water, the longest voyage in history. The sea soon took its toll, as scurvy began to consume the exhausted and starving crew. At the River of Good Signs, hope returned with the first news of the path to India. They faced the Cape of Storms, a place of legend where many sailors had met their end. In November, the storms cleared. The Indian Ocean lay open, and the dream was finally within reach. In Mozambique, hospitality turned to hostility when the Sultan discovered the explorers were actually Christians. Gama answered with cannon fire, narrowly escaping the port to continue his desperate journey north. On May 20th, 1498, the Portuguese finally anchored in Calicut, changing global history forever. The Samarin was unimpressed by Gama's simple gifts, yet the maritime door to the east was open. The return voyage was a nightmare. Against the monsoons, only 55 men survived the crossing. Vasco buried his brother Paulo in the Azores, learning that glory often comes with a price. Lisbon hailed the man who united the oceans and secured Portugal's place in the history books. His legacy remains carved in stone at the monastery built from the riches of the East. In 1900, Parisians didn't look at the roads for the future. They looked at the rooftops. I've observed that Santos Dumont saw the sky not as a limit, but as a map. But after all, who was this man? The record shows that legends aren't born in palaces, but in the silence of observation. Long before Paris, in the heart of Brazil, a boy watched the birds and asked, "Why not me?" He was a mind addicted to novelty. While others saw steam, he saw speed. Alberto spent his youth repairing complex gears and devouring Jules Verne's dreams, preparing his brain for the ultimate signal, the conquest of the air. The evidence reveals high-signal minds migrate towards the noise. Brazil offered him roots, but Paris offered him an engine. He didn't move for the scenery, he moved because in 1898, Paris was the only laboratory on Earth building the future he saw in his sleep. Most were trying to float. Dumont wanted to drive. He parked his airship outside Parisian cafes. Imagine a gasoline engine cutting through the morning silence. I've observed 2 points that changed physics. 1. The control. He didn't rely on the wind, he created the rudder. 2. The autonomy. The 14 bis took off by its own power. Bagatelle, 1906. The 14 bis groans. Within 200 milliseconds, the crowd's nervous system mirrors his tension. He accelerates. The field shrinks, The man becomes a bird. What would you build today if gravity was just an opinion? Dumont didn't seek logic. He sought novelty. Here is what I recommend you do next. Start observing the signals others miss. Born at the stroke of midnight, during a fierce lightning storm, a simple touch of a cat's fur reveals a hidden, electric world. So he vows to one day harness the power of the Great Falls. But dreams require a stage. He arrives in New York with 4 cents. He works for Edison, but his genius for alternating current is ignored. Therefore, he strikes out alone, digging ditches just to survive. But his frictionless motor finally proves the world was wrong. The battle of the currents begins. Edison's fire against Tesla's light. To prove its safety, he lets 1,000,000 volts surge through his skin. In 1893, Nikola Tesla lights up the Chicago World's Fair. The prophecy is fulfilled. Niagara Falls becomes a fountain of light. Now, he chases the impossible, wireless power for the entire planet. At Wardenclyffe, a giant tower rises to connect the human race. But the shadows of profit loom. His funding is ruthlessly cut. Then, a mysterious fire turns a lifetime of inventions into ash. A man out of time, he envisions a future the world isn't ready for. But in his twilight, he finds solace only in the wings of pigeons. In 1943, the light flickers out in a quiet hotel room. Yet, look around. His mind powers the very world you touch today. Nikola Tesla, the man who truly invented the 20th century.